This is Hollow Armada, starting with Stasis Breaker, Part 1 of the Variance War, a sci-fi audio chronicle from the edge of recursion. Transmission begins. Chapter 3. First Flight, Exodus Alliance, Naval Academy, Field Manual, Corridor Combat Operations. The recursion corridor does not forgive. It bends light, logic, and time, and it will bend you too if you don't learn when to yield. Captain Sin. What drifts through the corridors learns from the feet that walk them. The recursion field does not remember passively. It observes. Fragment 11, Echo Gospel. The Remnant's hangar pulsed with muted urgency, engineers threading between the dormant machines of war, motion bounded by restraint. Diagnostics blinked in tight intervals. Hydraulic lines sighed and sealed. Core sync fields shimmered faintly under maintenance canopies. Each action was exacting. Ritual, not routine. Jace Hollow approached his adaptive unit in silence. The frame stood coiled and waiting, posture folded but not passive. The cockpit opened with a sealed exhale. He climbed in. Darkness pressed in. Momentary, whole. Then the neural lattice ignited. The seat shivered against his spine. Thought became conduit. Breath became vector. Pilot synchronization commencing. Triarch's voice lacked texture. It offered no reassurance, only function. A coil of heat snapped through his back. His field of vision constricted, then widened, reborn as interface. HUD overlays bloomed across his periphery. Variant strain, actuator lag, cooling thresholds. Each metric pulsed with unsaid warning. The frame did not meet him halfway. It demanded surrender. Let it flow, Lara said over comms. The frame listens best when you stop shouting. He eased his grip. Muscle relaxed. Thought yielded, and the sync took hold. Data spread like breath across the canopy. Beneath every number, fragility. Beneath every function, limits shaped by compromise. No system promised survival, only participation. Lara's voice entered through the comm lattice. Not transmitted, but threaded. It moved with the quiet certainty of breath remembered before it was taken. I won't be in formation, Jace, but I'll be with you, all of you. The cradle's online. There was a pause. Not hesitation. Ritual. Protocol requires stabilization oversight for all combat drops inside recursion active warp corridors. The adaptive stabilizer cradle keeps your sync threads aligned when the recursion bends. The words were familiar, but not procedural. They echoed with the weight of something learned again and again. Loss held just outside failure. You won't see me, but if you feel something in the sync, don't flinch. That's me, pulling you back. Her voice didn't fade. It folded into the frame's inner hum, embedded between diagnostics and breath. Not command, not comfort, a reminder that presence need not require proximity. Jace didn't know how he understood, only that he did. It wasn't instruction. It was inheritance, a knowing rooted deeper than language, like reflex passed through recursion. Copy, he said. Quiet, but true. All units prepare for corridor insertion. Sin's voice cut in, controlled, unhurried. Navigator sync confirmed. Variance fields within safe drift. Transit objective. Delta point, Bravo 3. No delays. The corridor transit lay ahead. Recursion space layered between real space and narrative decay. Folded regions of distorted logic, policed by sovereign interceptors. No ship crossed alone. The vanguard existed to accompany risk. The hangar gates parted with hydraulic finality, and beyond them, the threshold. Not space, not light. A region where time wore no face. The corridor pulsed with folding geometry, walls stitched from fractured recollection. Architecture built by the motion of memory, not matter. Simulations hadn't prepared him for the presence of it. Inside his frame, Jace tensed. Launch! The adaptive surged forward. Clamps disengaged. Recursion space seized them. Gravity peeled sideways. Orientation became abstraction. His frame shrieked against the corridor's internal tide. Shields shimmering. Guidance engines clawing for alignment. For a moment, Jace dissolved into motion. Was he the pilot, or the memory that built the pilot? Then, sync lock, formation. His HUD resolved the others. Distorted outlines, stretched thin by drift lag, but tethered by shared variance. Tight pattern, Corrin ordered. Jace, left flank. Erin with him. Sen, sweep high. He complied. The adaptive moved without resistance, as if it knew him before he arrived. His breath steadied, but not completely. A presence had lodged beneath the sternum. Not fear, something older, unnamed. Contact. Sen's voice landed with still precision. 5 signals, sovereign, confirmed. They emerged as if drawn from the corridor itself, sleek, unnervingly precise, absent all wasted motion. Reaper-class interceptors, designed to outlive questions. Hold, Lara instructed. Let them choose the tempo. They did. They advanced like silence with a blade. Then, rupture. The corridor bent as plasma arcs curved through it, warping trajectories as if written in hindsight. The sovereign drones did not guess. They anticipated. Their aim was not reactive. It was recursive. Jace reacted before thought reached speech. He threw his frame sideways, killed thrust mid-spin, and let the corridor fold him. A Reaper swept past, too fast to adjust. His targeting locked. He fired. The drone ruptured in a scatter of shrapnel and recursion static. Clean, Erin muttered. Try not to fall in love with yourself. Focus, Corrin snapped. Lead drones compromising the lane. If the fold destabilizes, this whole branch collapses. Jace surged forward. Too far. The sync recoiled. A searing pulse cracked across his temple. The HUD stuttered. Warning, variant sync instability, 22% reversion risk. Then, flash, not memory. Pulsed strings beneath fingers. A voice mid-scream. A hand reaching. A name never spoken. His aim faltered. A drone looped in toward his flank. He rolled and fired without aim. Missed. Erin sliced across his arc, firing. The drone folded inward. Don't get noble, she muttered. We all want to burn for something. Another enemy vanished. Sen's kill. Silent, precise. Stillness followed. No breath. No threat. Then, lane stabilized, Sen confirmed. For now. Pull back, Lara ordered. We're done. Extraction came like air after drowning. The corridor relinquished them in pieces. As his adaptive locked into the Remnant's magnetic cradle, Jace barely dismounted before collapse. Knees to metal, hands to deck, vision blurred with heat. Not from exhaustion alone. Lara knelt beside him, voice lowered but direct. Too far. You exceeded your sync window. He blinked at her, something trying to surface through fog. It wasn't just bleed. The echoes. They test boundaries. Her tone dropped. Less officer, more memory. You followed too deep. He nodded, shallow. It didn't feel like recall. It felt like invitation. Lara's gaze didn't shift. That's how it begins. Her hand found his shoulder. Steady. Real. Control isn't silence, she said. It's knowing which voice not to follow when it sounds like your own. He closed his eyes. The lesson did not yet land, but he carried it. As he made his way toward the medbay, breath slow, limbs hollowed, the corridor stayed with him. Coiled at the edges of thought, still folding inward. He had survived, but something had watched. Not machine, not enemy. Something within the recursion had learned his name, and it was waiting to use it. The corridor lights flickered as Jace was released from the medbay. His joints ached, not from injury, but from something deeper, like his body was still catching up to the fact that he'd lived through it. No fanfare, no team celebration, just the sound of his own footsteps and the quiet echo of sovereign rounds that hadn't found their mark. He didn't head to quarters, not yet. The mess hall was mostly dark, a few staff units in standby, a tech half asleep behind diagnostics. He drifted toward the dispenser. No appetite, just something warm, something real. His HoloLink chimed, not urgent, just insistent. He hesitated, then tapped to open it. A soft blue screen shimmered into view. The Valnexa Corporation logo spiraled gently behind the words, "Congratulations, soldier." The same syruped voice from orientation returned, cheerful and hollow as ever. You have survived your first holocore combat encounter. As a reward for your continued excellence, you have been granted 30 minutes of unrestricted simulation time. The tone shifted, playful, almost winking. Hollow soldiers are encouraged to use simulation environments to satisfy physical and emotional needs. From comfort to companionship, Valnexa Sympaths provide ethical, zero-impact relief tailored to your unique psychological profile. The voice paused, then added, like a line read twice, "This is your happy time. Thank you for your service. Long live the Exodus Alliance." The message flickered once, awaiting interaction. Jace stared at it, then tapped decline. The light vanished. No further prompt followed. He stood in silence, fingers still hovering above the empty interface. Behind him, the coffee line blinked, still waiting for a selection. He pressed for heat. Nothing sweet, just bitter, just real. No medal, no handshake. Just 30 minutes of fake affection he didn't ask for. He took the drink, walked toward the far wall, and sat alone. And for the first time since waking, he wondered if surviving was always going to feel like this. You've been listening to Hollow Armada, Stasis Breaker, Part 1 of the Variance War. The recursion continues. Subscribe to follow the signal. Want to go deeper into the story? Read the novel or explore the comic. Both available now on Amazon. Links in the description.